The following program is being brought to you in part by
Community Health Net Health Centers, rooted in the communities of Northwest Indiana. Community Health Net Health Centers offer family practice, pediatrics, behavioral health, OBGYN, eye care, and dental. Community Health Net Health Centers provides compassionate health care for all.
Good evening and welcome to LRP Tower in downtown Hammond. And we are very glad once again to be able to present Your Health Matters with Dr. Janet Seabrook. We had a chance to talk to Dr. Seabrook this morning on LRP Exclusive. We wanted to make sure that we didn't get all the topics out because we wanted to make sure we had enough topics for tonight. So Dr. Seabrook, good evening and welcome to, thank you for zooming into the LRP Tower.
Thank you so much, John. Good afternoon to you.
So here we are. We are moving forward in a lot of different directions as we spoke of this morning. We've got a lot more questions, again, that we do have answers. But the great thing is you've got somebody with us who's going to be able to give us some good news through all of this. So we're just going to let you take it over and introduce us to Frieda.
So thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to Miss Frieda Graves. Frieda Graves, it manages and runs Faith Farms. And so I'm so excited that Frieda was able to be here with us today to have this conversation. Now is the time with this, disease that's just running rampant through the United States, this public health crisis, for people to take even better care of themselves and really think about eating healthy. So Faith Farms has so many initiatives going on. So I'm just going to stop talking and I'm going to ask Ms. Frieda to tell us about some of the programs and the initiatives that Faith Farms has in the community. And I'm just so excited for her to be here and tell us a little bit more about the work that's going on at Faith Farms.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Seabrook, and thank you, Don, for having me, and Chelsea. I'm just going to give you a little overview of Faith Farms, what we do. So Faith Farms is approximately 1 acre, and we have organic vegetables, and that's what we grow because we believe in health and giving back to the community and being able to have healthy organic vegetables in our community, which we call a food dump or food desert, however you want to phrase it. we don't have a lot of healthy options in the community that we're in Gary, Indiana. So the vision of Faith Farms came from originally from Pastor Curtis Whitaker. I got a vision from God that we should know where our food comes from. We should know where our fresh, healthy food comes from. So when he had that vision approximately 6 years ago, they started off just initially building garden boxes. They had 3 garden boxes, and then that transcribed into 6 garden boxes. Then that went to hoop houses. So he went to Wisconsin, and he took classes with Dr. Will Allen, who is he's called the father of urban farming.
Mm-hmm.
So he took classes with him to learn how to do grow the food in hoop houses. Excuse me. So Will Allen came to Gary, and he looked at the property that we had. There was originally abandoned houses that the city of Gary partnered with us, and then they tore down, and then we cultivated the land. So when Dr. Allen came, they decided to do 4 hoop houses to grow fresh vegetables. And we were all looking at each other because the church and Dr. Allen and his team helped build those hoop houses. Build hoop houses. I mean, I'm a nurse by trade for the last 25 years,
Yes.
but I didn't know about gardening. I didn't know about growing anything. I was scared of bees, scared of bugs, and scared of spiders. But Pastor Curtis asked me would I be the first Faith Farm administrator, and after a little prayer, I agreed to do that. I had to ask God first, should I do this? So once we did that, we started growing fresh organic vegetables. Recently, our initiatives, we've increased our initiatives. In the last 2 years, we now obtain chickens, ducks, and goats, where we do fresh organic eggs from the chickens daily. Now we have fresh duck eggs, and we just started with the goat milking. Beyond that, across from Faith Farms, we have a pollinator product that we've been approved for through Legacy Foundation, who's been a big supporter of ours. So we're going to do an education center, and we have beehives. So now we're doing honey, and so and a pollinator park. So let me get back to the basics. I don't want to get too far off the subject, but right now we are growing fresh organic vegetables. And the reason we're doing that is because of high incidence of diabetes, hypertension in our areas, all the diseases that really affect our people. So we wanted them to have fresh organic vegetables at a decent price. So that's what we do now. This year,
So
I'm sorry, go ahead, Dr.
No,
Seabrook.
no, this is great information. So can you give us the address of Faith Farms and the phone number, and then share with us some of the fresh organic vegetables that you are growing, because someone may hear something that they know that they love, like collard greens, and they may want to run out there. So could you please share the address and the phone number, and then share with us some of the veggies that you're growing?
Absolutely. The address is 656 Carolina Street in Gary, Indiana. We're right across from the old Emerson School. The phone number is 219-885-9485. And we have a new phone number, so that's our new phone number. And then as far as the vegetables that we have, I'm going to go down the list. We have collard greens, we have tomatoes, we have onions, we have garlic, we have turnip greens, we have eggplant, we have cucumbers, we have potatoes, we're growing corn, and red bell peppers, and hot peppers, and we also have herbs. We do a lot of herbs because we know herbs are good for the body. Oregano is good for your respiratory system. So we have oregano, thyme, lavender, mint, chamomile. We have tarragon, all kinds of different herbs in there. And I know I'm missing something.
So answer me this, Frieda. Will you guys be making goat milk soap and using the lavender and some of the herbs to add into the soap? And I can't wait. That's going to be some good soap.
That is. We just did our first milking of the goat Saturday. So now we have to get the goat used to the milking. So we only got like 8 ounces, but that's our goal.
Okay.
Goat's milk soap, and then also cheese.
Oh,
when
wonderful.
we get somebody to show us how to pasteurize and process the cheese, we'll actually be doing cheese as well. So right now with the lavender, though, we actually make a lavender mint stevia lemonade.
Ooh, that sounds
So we
delicious.
that is what that. Yes, yes, it is. And this we start our what's called a, which is a community supported agriculture. So we work with dairy farmers and then a couple farmers from different areas, local farmers from the rural areas. And once a month, we do these boxes full of vegetables for $20 for a small box and $40 for a large box with recipes from Purdue University. And we do that, I actually have that coming up tomorrow.
So you want to repeat that again? It's very and phone
Sure,
number so
sure.
people can know.
Let me repeat the phone number. Absolutely. Our phone number, once again, is 219-885-9485. Now, our community supported agriculture boxes or our CSA boxes are once a month, every third or fourth Thursday. For this year, for this month, it's going to be tomorrow, July 23rd. And what happens in that box is we work with 3 or 4 other local farmers, Bob's Backyard and a few other farmers that we all come together and we put fresh organic vegetables in that box. And $20 you get a small box, $25 with organic eggs, and $40 you get a large box of $45 with organic eggs. You can call that phone number to pre-order, and it's curbside pickup only. So during the COVID period, we're trying to be safe. So it's curbside pickup. You can pay on pickup, or you can pay at Cash App Faith CDC.
That is wonderful. I am so excited. Can you tell us if anyone has switched over from regular chicken eggs to duck eggs to bake with? Because I've heard that baking with duck eggs makes your batter much richer. So can you
actually,
talk to us a little bit about
our farm manager Larry does pound cakes with duck eggs that are fantastic. They are really good for baking. That's what people come and get them for when they use them in their cakes and cookies. And it makes it more moist.
Yes.
So yes. We have had a lot of interest in our duck eggs.
This is so exciting. I see Don is having some reaction, so I'm going to give him a chance to jump in and ask some questions. But I can see the inquisitive look on his face right now.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm inquisitive. Second of all, I'm currently fasting, so this talk is driving me absolutely crazy. But I do have to ask you, Frieda, you've got just a wonderful thing that you're doing here with Faith Farms, but we talked earlier today with Dr. Seabrook about how COVID is really becoming it's the unexplained virus, because it takes so many different twists and turns down the road. As you look into fall and winter, will there be something available that you would be able to continue to work with growing things indoors, or to be able to at least be able to work with collecting non-perishable food items for Faith Farms that we would be able to get involved with here at the LRP network?
Okay, yes. Well, Don, this is the thing with the growing indoors, which we did last year. We grew indoors and then we transplanted it to the hoop houses. And then we do a couple of things in the hoop houses, which would be kale. There's very few things that would survive during the winter without the proper heating. And we were actually looking into geothermal heating, but then you need resources.
Mm-hmm.
So last year, the only thing we were actually able to grow inside our hoop houses, because they are 10 to 15 degrees warmer inside the hoop house, was kale. That's the only thing that made it through the winter. Some things they did well till the temperature hit 30s, and they just kind of tilted over. They did not make it. So that's what we're experimenting with. But at this point, we have not been successful on anything but kale. But kale is also good in the wintertime. The herbs, we are going to do some more herbs on the inside this winter.
Mm-hmm.
That even though we are, and all kinds of things. Some of the things are kind of iffy on the inside with the light. So that was our first year experimenting with indoor growth last year. We're going to try and increase it this year, and it all depends on what God does, because it's just a trial and error when you're trying to grow.
Understood. Well, that, like I said, this would be something that as we move forward, because nobody really has any crystal ball, or there's no real playbook as far as what COVID
Correct.
will do. So anything that we can help you with here at the LRP network, we would be more than happy to help you out. And we look forward to seeing where this goes, and hopefully, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, hopefully we won't need that service for a while, but you know, there's always going to be a need for it. So
Yes.
the need for it to be shifted a little bit from where it is now to where it can be down the road. So congratulations on what you're doing. We applaud your efforts. It's wonderful.
Well, thank you. We have 1 acre. We have exactly 1 acre of land, but we pack a lot into that 1 acre that we have.
Wonderful. Dr. Seabrook, we'll throw it back to you.
Thank you so much. So, Ms. Frieda, have you all thought about hydroponics, and what do you think about that?
We have thought about hydroponic. We actually got a small grant to start on the hydroponic, but we had to give that back because we ended up going with the pollinator park first. The thing about hydroponics is great. I mean, the growing inside with the water is great, but one thing about it is you have to have enough people.
Yes.
Essentially, there's 4 of us, 4 volunteers that keep the farm running all the time. So right now we're not concentrating so much on that. We would love to. We were actually on another initiative that we were on with the hydroponics, but that kind of fell through. That hasn't come through yet. So we have thought about it, and I think it's a fantastic thing to be able to grow inside with the water. But being able to do it would be a different thing. So we just right now we're in the middle.
Okay, yeah, that's something that I've always been interested in. And what about vertical gardening?
We are doing that.
Yay.
We started last year with Bob, and Bob taught us how to do the vertical growing with our tomatoes and our cucumbers. And we're still doing it again this year. We're doing the vertical growing. That gave us a lot more space to grow.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So as you can see, some of my knowledge comes from being a Southern girl at heart. I was born in Charleston, South Carolina, and my family moved up to Gary when I was a little girl. But every summer I spent, as soon as the last day of school to the first day of school, I spent it in Charleston, and both my grandparents had farms. Mm-hmm. So what I thought was fun was work for everybody else, running through the watermelon patch and picking watermelons and deciding which cucumbers and tomatoes I was gonna eat that night, mm-hmm. and which okra I wanted to pick so my grandmother could make me some okra soup. So when I would come back, I would always plant a little plot of land and leave it, or before we would leave, I would plant and then go for the whole summer and then come back. And my neighbors were always complaining about, why do you plant all of this stuff and your parents have to keep coming and taking care of this garden? I said, you shouldn't mind that because you're getting just as much vegetables out of it than they are. But I've always been, I feel, a gardener at heart. Right now I have something at my house. I have a plot of land at my house that I'm working on in my patio deck as well. But I wanted to, and I didn't get a chance to speak with you or Pastor Whitaker with the work that you did with the Purdue Extension. I participated last year in that urban gardening class. So you all were very insightful, and the information that you gave out to my classmates and I was very helpful in our planning our urban garden. So I didn't get a chance at the time to say thank you for that. Thank you to you and Pastor Whitaker for all of that great information that you guys passed on to us. As you can see, I retained a lot.
Well, thank you. You know what? And Dr. Seabrook, I just have to mention that I grew up in Gary, Indiana, but my grandmother did the same thing. She was from the South. She had a garden in her backyard. We never went to the grocery store. We went to her yard and picked everything.
Yes. Yes, all things fresh. You only went to the grocery store for the things that you couldn't grow in the yard.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. So can you give us that number one more time?
Sure. The phone number is 219-885-9485.
And people may pre-order for tomorrow's sale.
Yeah.
Please tell Pastor Curtis that Dr. Seabrook said hello.
Hello.
Dr. Seabrook, hi.
Dr.
How you doing, Pastor Whitaker?
Hey, Doc.
Good to see
How
you.
Doing?
Oh, you're
I
doing
can't hear you,
wonderful,
but
and
I can
thank you
see
so
you.
much.
Yeah.
She said you're doing wonderful. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. We need to get together, Doc.
We
Especially with
sure
our
do.
CSA program we got going on. We need to, thank you. We need, especially we need to get together because we're doing some things with some folks out east, and there are dollars available for this work through HRSA to do this and help folks who can't afford whole foods and the like get food, low ration, affordable food.
Well, you and I are on the same page, so thank you so much.
All right.
All right, you take care.
All right, you too.
Don, you have any further questions?
No, I think we're good. I just it's fantastic that this is being done, and that the way that it's being thought forward into, you know, the fall and into the winter, and for us to be able to, like I said, help out in any way we can with the LRP network, with any of the initiatives that you have going on. That's fantastic. And with things that you're going to be doing, and we'll be talking about this down the road too, Dr. Seabrook, with other groups that are also doing the same thing. The more that we're able to do this, and again, I grew up in Wisconsin. My mother's side of the family, they were all farmers, and I spent a good chunk of my summers out on the farm. So I'm right there with you. With what you were just explaining, I was doing the exact same thing. So to be able to have that here and readily available to the people from Gary and the surrounding areas, it's fantastic news. And I know that we want to touch on more of it as we go. So Frieda, it was wonderful to have you on. I appreciate your time.
Frieda's on mute. I think they were switching back.
Yeah, thank
There
you
it
guys.
is.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys.
You're so welcome. And that was a surprise that you actually ended up at Faith Farms and we were able to have that brief conversation with Pastor Whitaker. So
Well,
thank
actually,
you
yeah,
again.
you're welcome. I was actually out collecting for our CSA boxes tomorrow from a local farmer, so that worked out perfectly.
It did.
I'll
Thank
tell
you
you what,
again. Thank you so much.
that's the great
Don?
thing about having Zoom, Frieda. We are able to move around so often, and being able to bring so many different people in on the conversation. So that was
Absolutely.
great. I'm glad you were able to stop there. That's wonderful.
Yes, I'm out on the farm now, so thank you guys.
You bet.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
All right,
Thank
you
you.
too. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
And Dr. Seabrook, I mean, we are, we're coming down to the end here, but I know that this is something that I think we're going to want to do more of as we move forward, to be able to have other shows talking about the diet and not so much eating right. We certainly touched on that plenty of times early on, but there are foods that are out there that foods can heal, and foods that can make you feel better and get you through this. And that was really another area that I would like to touch on in one of the upcoming shows.
I think that's that would be a perfect show for us to expand this conversation a little bit further.
Because I know that, we are always trying to find better ways to get through this, not just through the inconveniences that we have to deal with this, with the takeaways that we have, but there are other things that we can do that will make everything work much better. And I think that's definitely something that we can talk about next week when we get back together again. And plus I'll be ready to eat then too. So
yes, and we can talk about food and not feel bad.
Exactly. Dr. Seabrook, it is always great to have you on. The show, Your Health Matters, grew out of, it was one of those things that grew out of a terrible time. And then these terrible times do continue. But we're lucky to be able to have you on the staff as our senior medical correspondent. And between your knowledge and the knowledge of the people that you bring to the show, we are able to get as much positive information out as possible. So we always appreciate your time. Dr. Janice Seabrook with Your Health Matters. My name is Don Clark, broadcasting almost from the LRP Tower. We'll be back there again next week. Thank you for joining us tonight on Your Health Matters. Have a great evening. Dr. Glenn Harrison and A Higher Calling is up next.
Your Health Matters with Dr. Janet Seabrook was brought to you in part by
Community Health Net Health Centers, rooted in the communities of Northwest Indiana. Community Health Net Health Centers offer family practice, pediatrics, behavioral health, OBGYN, eye care, and dental. Community Health Net Health Centers provides compassionate health care for all.